Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Shiv Kumar, head of the department Civil Engineering, JIMS Engineering Management Technical Campus. So today in my lecture, we'll discuss about the timbers and protective coverings. So first, we'll discuss about the timbers in this section, and in next section we'll discuss about the protective coverings. Timber. Timber basically a product which is derived from the wood which can be used or which is being used in the engineering purposes, making of furnitures, etc. Basically, a tree consists of three parts, which is known as which is the root, crown, and trunk. So this trunk part, which is taken as a wood and converted into the timbers. The function of the trunk is to support the crown and also to ensure the supply of water and nutrients from the roots to other parts of the plant. The roots are meant to implant the tree with the soil and absorb the moisture and mineral materials from the soil. As far as the structure is concerned, the tree can be divided into two following parts. First one is the macrostructure and second one is the microstructure. The macrostructure are those structures which can be seen by the naked eyes. So when we cut a tree in the transverse direction or transverse section, the following type or following part can be seen in the macrostructure, which is shown in that figure. The outer bark, inner bark, growth rings, pith, heartwood, cambium layer, medullary rays, and sapwood. So this is the transverse section which is shown in the figure, in which each and every part of the macrostructure is clearly visible. So let's discuss in detail the different parts of the tree. The first one is the pith, the innermost central portion of the core of the tree, which is called pith or medulla. It is darker in color. Sometimes it is brownish or blackish brown in color. In the early stage of the plant, it nourishes or it supplies the nutrients from roots to the other part of the plant. But later on, it dies, decays, and converted into the sap. The pith of the branches is nothing but merely a prolongation of the stem. Next is the heartwood. The inner annular rings. Annular rings means the rings which is developed on the annual basis of the which represent the age of the plant. Surrounding the pith constitute the heartwood. It is usually dark in color. It provides the strength and durability to the timber, and this kind of wood can be used in the engineering purposes. Next is the sapwood. The outer annular rings between hardwood and the cambium layer is known as the sapwood. It is usually lighter in color and weight. It indicates the recent growth and it contains the sap. The sapwood is also known as alburnum. It takes active part in the growth of the tree and the sap moves in the upward direction to the other part of the plant, means from root to crown. Next is the cambium layer. It is the thin layer of the sap between sapwood and the inner bark is known as the cambium layer. It indicates sap which has not yet been converted into the sapwood. It was in the sometimes you can say the gel or liquid form in between the cambium and inner bark. Sometimes the bark is removed due to some reason or sometimes due to some accident. the cambium layer gets exposed and the cells ceases to be active, resulting in the death of the fiber. Next is the bark. The bark is divided into two following parts. The first one is the inner bark and second one is the outer bark. The inner skin or layer covering the cambium layer is known as the inner bark. It gives protection to the cambium layer from any kind of injury. And the outer bark, it is irregular in shape. Sometimes it may be of green color, sometimes it may be of brown, sometimes dark brown. So multiple colors can be seen of the bark. The outer skin that covers the tree is known as the outer bark or the skin of the tree. It is the outermost protective layer, sometimes contains many cracks and fissures. It consists of cells and wood fiber and also known as the cortex of the plant. Next is medullary rays, a thin radial fibers that extending from the pith to cambium layer is known as medullary rays. The function of these rays is to bind the annular ring of hardwood and sapwood. These rays are sometimes broken and in the some varieties of the tree, they are not very prominent because lighter in due to the color, lighter in color. The next is the microstructure. The microstructure is defined as the which cannot be seen by the naked eye or the wood apparently only at the great magnification is called the microstructure. This is the living cell, consists of basically four parts. The first one is the membrane, a thin layer, protoplasm, the plant protein, sap and core, the innermost part of the plant. The cell membrane consists of mainly of cellular tissues, which is known as the cellulose. The tree is basically composed of cellulose and hemicellulose. The protoplasm is a granular, transparent, viscous vegetable protein composed of carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and hydrogen. The next is the cell. The cells are divided into three parts. First one is the conductive cell, second is mechanical cell, and third one is the storage cell. The conductive cells are basically are the cells which serve mainly to transmit nutrients from roots to branches and the other parts of the plant like fruits, vegetables, and leaves. The next is mechanical cell. These cells are elongated, thick-walled, and have tightly interconnected narrow interior cavities. These cells impart strength to the wood. Next is the storage. These cells serve to store and transmit nutrients to the living cells in the horizontal direction. They are usually located in the medullary rays. Now come to the other part or major part of the wood. The timber basically is used or meant for this strength and durability because this timber is used in the engineering purposes like to make the frames, doors, and sometimes the furniture which is used in the houses or homes or in the colleges, in the malls. So the timber is required. So timber is basically used because it is durable and having the strength. So it should be free from any kind of defects. So we will discuss something, we'll elaborate some basic type of defects which are found in the timber that may be natural, that may be man-made. So these are the following defects which are found, common types of defects are found in the timbers. First one is that defects due to conversion. So conversion is a man-made process. Next is a defect due to fungi, due to insects, natural forces, and last one is the seasoning. The seasoning is also a man-made process. So there are three types of defects which are natural in nature and two types of defects are man-made. The first one is the due to conversion. The first is chip mark. This defect is indicated by mark placed by chip on the finished surface of the timber. That may also be found by some machine parts. Next is the diagonal grains. This defect is formed due to improper sawing of timber. It is indicated by diagonal marks and straight grained surface of the timber. So when we are sawing or splitting the timber into two parts, these marks can be visible if we are not making it properly. The next one is a torn grain. This defect is caused when a small depression is formed on the finished surface of timber by falling of a tool or so. Suppose we put a finished board or a slab or a piece of a timber at a place, and a hammer is fallen on that finished timber. So there may a depression may appear on that surface, which is known as the torn grain. Next is a vein. This defect is denoted by the presence of original rounded surface on the manufactured piece of timber. Next is the due to fungi. The fungi is a microstructure, a living structure, which can attack on the timber and can cause a various type of spots, sometimes converted into the powder form, that is grow due to the following two reasons. The first one is if the moisture content in the timber goes beyond or above or more than 20%, then fungal attack may appear on the surface. And if there is a presence of air and warmth for the growth of fungi. So first one is the blue stain. The sap of the wood is stained to bluish color by the action of certain type of fungi. Sometimes it is brown in color, then it is known as the brown rot. In the brown rot, the cellulose compound may be affected by this brown rot. The dry rot, the wood part is converted into the powder form, is known as the dry rot. The dry rot may be prevented by using well-seasoned timber free from sap. Next is hard rot. This is formed when a branch has come out of a tree. It occurs when hardwood is exposed to the atmospheric agent. Sap stain. Certain type of fungi feed on the cell contain the sapwood. In doing so, the sapwood loses its color. This is known as sap stain. It generally occurs when the moisture content goes beyond the 25% or so. Next is wet rot. Some varieties of fungi cause chemical decomposition of the wood of timber. In doing so, timber is converted into grayish-brown powder. Then this type of defect is known as wet rot. White rot. This is the fungi, white rot fungi. This defect is opposite of brown rot. In this defect, the wood assumes to appears in the white mass containing the cellulosic compound. Defects due to insects. The most common is the termite action. The termite, which is commonly known as dimak. All these insects like beetles, marangurers, and termites, they converted the wooden part into the powder form as they feed on the cellulose, and wood contains mainly the cellulosic part composed of the cellulosic component. The next is the defects due to natural forces. The natural forces that may be a tornadoes, that may be a hurricane or high-speed winds. The first defect due to these natural forces is known as birds. These are known as the exergens, and they are particularly formed when a tree has received shock or injury in its young age. Sometimes this may be a natural forces, sometimes it may be a defect that caused due to the man-made. Suppose sometimes during the playing, we just hit the tree, sometimes maybe from axe, sometimes maybe from the hammer, sometimes from the brick, sometimes from the stone. So this upset that may rupture the tissue of the plant, and the bulbs may appear on the body of the plant when we extract the timber. Next is the callus. It indicates the removal of soft tissues or skin from the tree. So when we remove the skin or some part of the plant, then this soft tissue covers that wound and form a callus, which is generally considered as a defect. Next is the chemical stain. The chemical stain may be formed due to some external agency, and that may cause some stain on the wood. Next is coarse grain. If the tree grows rapidly, the annual rings are whitened. Such timbers possess less strength, so it should be avoided to make in the furniture or where the high strength of the timber is required. So this should be avoided. Dead wood. The dead wood is derived from the dead standing plant, and it is also should be avoided. Should also be avoided uh, to use this type, kind of a dead woods. Drugginess. The defect is indicated by white decayed spots, which are concealed by the healthy wood. Foxiness. This defect is indicated by a red or yellow tinge in the wood. Sometimes it is reddish or sometimes it is brownish in color. This is a type of spot around the pith of the tree discoloring the timber and may be caused due to some poor ventilation property. Knots. One of the most prominent defect found in the wood. These are the pieces of the branches or limb when we broken or remove a branch from the tree. So this type of knots maybe reappear or appear in the surface of timber. Rind galls. The rind means bark and galls indicates abnormal growth. When an abnormal growth appears on the surface or on the skin or on the bark of the plant, hence peculiar curved swelling found on the body of the tree known as the rind galls. Shakes. These are very common. These are generally known as the cracks which are found in the timber. So these forms the cup shakes, heart shakes, ring shakes, star shakes, and radial shakes based on their shapes, which are defined into the following types of shakes. The twisted fibers. A high speedy winds can twist the fibers and make the permanent rupture or damage in the tissues. When we extract the timber from such kind of a trees, that twisting appears on the surface in the twisted manners. That's why it is known as the twisted fiber defect. Next is the upset. These are shown on the rupture as the rupture when indicates the food fibers which are injured by crushing or compression. Water stain. It may be due to the water, presence of water found in the converted timber. Wind cracks. If wood is exposed to atmospheric agencies, its exterior surface shrinks, and these are known as the wind cracks. After the shrinkage, when the wood is going to shrink, then it rupture. The rupture in the tissue will be found or appears, which is known as the wind cracks. Next is the defects due to seasoning. It is the man-made defect. When a defect found longitudinal in the timber and which acquire the shape of a bow or a curvature is known as the bow defect. Case hardening. The exposed surface of timber dries very rapidly and therefore shrinks under compression. The interior surface which has not completely dried under tension, this defect of known as the case hardening. It means upper surface is hardened but the inner surface is not the completely dried. That's why this kind of defects appear in the timber. Next is check. A check is a crack which separate fiber of the wood. It does not extend from one end to other end. So it may be a minor, but defect is defect. Next is a collapse. Due to uneven shrinkage of the wood, sometimes flattened during drying, this is known as collapse. Cup. When a curvature formed in the transfer direction of the timber is known as the cup. Next, and maybe last, but not the last, honeycombing. Due to stress developing during drying, the various radial and circular cracks in the interior portion of the timber is found or appears. This defect is known as honeycombing. Split. When a check extends from one end to other is known as a split. Twist. When a piece of timber has spirally distorted along its length is known as the twist. Wrap. When a piece of timber has twist out of shape, it is said the wrap. So this is all about the timber and its defect. So, and we will meet with you with, so we'll meet with fresh topic, which is based on the protective coverings. Thanks for listening my lecture. Thanks to all of you. We'll meet with a new topic that I have mentioned is protective coverings. Till then, take care. Goodbye.